I'm looking at how are we helping jiu-jitsu athletes become more resilient. I'm looking at what are the dynamics in the training group with the training partners, what kind of feedback are coaches or teachers giving to the
Mm.
students.
Oh,
are
wow.
the students are the students actually responding well to that feedback, or is there a disconnect? And then what's the environment like in terms of if I'm struggling or I had a really rough day at work and this is something that I'm coming to, but maybe I'm just not in it, but I still know I need to get some work in. How do I am I do I see approachability? Do I see a nurturing environment? Because let's face it, we want to look at this as like machoism and toughness and stuff, but at the end of the day, unless if you don't have nurturing to allow you to be that tough guy, you need moments where you have a very supportive gym or teaching or training space that's going to enable you to take some calculated risks, so now you can go to a competition
Hmm.
and try to really be that person, right? And so yeah, I'll do work with individuals, but I try to look at the whole ecosystem, because if we don't have great relationships and a good environment where there's approachability and everything, you've really cut off the ability for people to have resiliency.
And it seems like it's like more of a sustainable model. Like if the environment's good, everything else can be figured out. But if the
Yep.
environment's kind of toxic or negative, like it doesn't matter how much effort you put in.
I mean, we're organisms just like
Hmm.
trees, just like plants, right? And you put toxicity in the soil, you're going to kill a lot of stuff, and you don't want to kill people's joy and kill
Hmm.
people's confidence. So if you don't create a great environment, you're just not going to get the outcome, the bounty of the training really that you're looking for. And it's something that I think we're starting to realize makes more sense. But people are always like, well, I don't want to coddle people. Well, it's not coddling, like you're allowed to challenge people,
Hmm.
but gosh, if you're going to challenge somebody, make sure you're there to help pick them up. That's not coddling. Coddling's, oh, you don't have to do this. You could just, you never take any risks. You're good.
Hmm.
No, encourage people to take risks, but in a way that helps them grow. Because if we look at a balancing act here, our skills and abilities and the demand that's placed upon us, if the demand outweighs our skills and abilities, this is stress, right?
Hmm.
And a good amount of stress, like a tiny bit of stress here, enables growth, because now I'm required to really develop my skills and abilities to meet what's happening to me. But if we put people, you get that first time person in a gym, and you put them with, your black belt or something, now
Yeah.
it's panic mode. It's straight panic, and nobody's learning and nobody's happy, and it's demoralizing, and it is
Hmm.
what it is, right? So it's like borderline Cobra Kai, since I just got done watching that on
Oh,
Netflix. So, but it's like, but it's really fascinating to see people kind of grapple with that idea, which is, gosh, well, I don't want to coddle people. Well, look, there's a difference between like developing people and coddling.
mhm.
There's a difference between those things, and know the difference, and know that um, we don't have to be jerks just because that's the way it was done in the 60s or the 70s, to get an outcome. Like, if anything, people are running faster, jumping higher, lifting more. Human capacity has really increased. The world record in the shot put was just broken 2 nights ago at the Olympic trials by 8 inches,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And that's stuff that has stood the test of time since the Soviet bloc, and there was probably doping going on, right? So fingers
It's still
crossed.
going
You
on.
hope everybody's clean. You hope everybody's clean. But holy crap, 8 inches, like that's a shatter of a record, right? It's been around for 35 years.
Mm,
So it's pretty cool to see the human condition evolve, but we're also starting to realize if we're going to really push people to these limits, we need to be better at,
mhm.
at how we support and how we guide, and how we really develop resilience. Because when you're in that circle and it's just you and another person, it's hard to hide. And
You can't
so
hide.
your failure is going to be very, very evident, right? And then sometimes very public forums, just
Mhm.
like just like a pitcher and a batter in baseball. I mean, that is a
Yeah, all the
battle
hate
right
goes to the
there. And
pitcher. You know, he's not getting any strikes or anything, and then like
exactly.
coach is
One
ready to
is
pull him
gonna
out.
right, one's gonna fail, and I mean, we're celebrating 300 hitters. They failed 7 out of 10 times. So it's really interesting to see, like, all right, this is really built in, and how do we handle those things? And I think the more we start to really think, it's not just about how am I helping people acquire physical skills, but also how am I cultivating um, a developmental approach from how people think and
Mm,
interact with, because if anything, sport is really preparing people for difficult situations later on in life if it's done right. And we always like to say here, one of our athletic directors used to say, I believe that all of our teams are learning laboratories for life, and there's a lot of truth to that. Our student athletes, and gosh, when I was a student athlete, there wasn't a lot of television for track and field or cross country,
mm,
but you could turn on ESPN Plus and you can watch pretty much any game you could fathom in college athletics. You could watch a random softball game from a small Division 1 conference, volleyball, etc., and
hmm.
you're failing on TV, in front of
Yeah.
a lot of people. And so how are you prepared for that moment? It's so important, and we need to look into, yeah, not just training the individual, but we have to have a team approach to this, and let's make sure we do that the right way.